set of individual commitments made by the countries, by Brazil, and here is by India. So this is the main findings, and we'll just their answer. How much? Well, it depends on the country, how active it would be during its presidency, and how active it will be the just outreach groups and additional dialogue platform in order to translate its just recommendations into final decisions. Later on, maybe applicated on just some kind of collective or common actions. So the second question was set as how far G20 as a global dialogue platform delivers into Russia growth agenda. So vice versa, well, just I tried to see it on from both sides, from the side of G20 as a just international player or kind of this, and from the side of Russia, how much it will just have been efficient, and how much it will just do for Russia. For Russia, we'll just look at the scope of job quality and growth, and of course so-called extra impetus for G20 agenda. This time it was just financing matters, and we'll just in concern with labor and sometimes in social policy. I didn't divide them into separate areas in this or just a paper, because they are very close from the point of coordination, very close from the point of regulatory affairs in Russia. So first of all, of course, we'll just a kind of the count that all countries of the G20 will just have this problem of unemployment. The main concerns and the main initiative of Russia was just of course labor activation, taking into consideration that many countries during the crisis use these devices, labor activation, for training programs. And we'll just here is an example of this concrete programs. And extra impetus or extra balanced job creation and investments for quality jobs. Just a few words, or just I don't even mention these examples. I will just put emphasis on a Russian, or just approach to use this agenda on an internal level, in external policy. We will just concentrate our labor and social policy in two areas. The area of supporting small and medium business, so-called conditional payments, and we'll just in their demographic policy. Here is just the main characteristic of our small business for Russia, from the point of job creation, from the point of GDP input. Russia started two programs as startup, subsidy program very early in 2005, and during the crisis it was a program of self-employment grant program. And here you can see the data concerned with this support on this grant program for the small and medium companies. You can see that it is 6 times increased during this program and twice increased within the crisis. And the second concern was the demographic situation in Russia. Here, as you can see, the crude birth rate, or just before and after during the crisis, you can see the very positive increase for both from the dynamics, from the speed of dynamic, and from the curve. And it is maybe partly due to very enhanced program known as a conditional payment program, maternity or family capital in Russia. Here you also see the official data, how much each mother giving birth to a second child in Russia came as a maternal capital from 250,000 rubles to 380,000 rubles. And after the summit, we proposed to prolong this program. It was really just a political decision, because the last year mandate program was delivered was the current. and after, well, just maybe it was a joint decision, political, from the Minister of Labor and from the, well, just our head of the government. But still, this is, well, just a fact, and we have to take it in consideration. So maybe another 2 minutes. Thank you. I will just only outline the putting emphasis. Here is. Also, I drew today just trying to speak fast, but it is just out of my, another set of calculations, another set of economic findings. I tried to look on the international organizations here in concern of our preoccupations in international financial architecture and all the institutional adjustments. How much G20 decisions are affecting these organizations as they are related to G20 mandate. Previously, you may see that a number of organizations will just articulate and participate in G20 coordination process. Here is the findings previously made, and here are the findings and calculations I made for all the organizations just referenced in G20 decisions. So you can see that IMF is just the leader, but there is very interesting symptom that OECD is now the leader, and on the upper side you can see RDB. This is the regional development banks and regional financial agreements. They will just have been referenced very just fast and very in much documents of G20 this year. So the main G20 areas for coordination and concern with financial regulation and Russian interest. We have this problem, how to increase liquidity of our banking sector. And here is the calculations also made by alternative, it's not official by Central Bank. This is the alternative calculations of the Russian Association of Banks. They calculated that Russian banking system will need additional 3 billion Russian rubles. It is closer to $100 million to attain these numbers and to easily or maybe without losses reach this Basel II requirements in concern with capital plus consolidation buffer and in concern with capital deconsideration. But Russia goes further. We are today in the process of applying two very interesting and very important for Russian banking system principles for sound competency practices and for the supervisory initiative on so-called domestic systematically important financial institutions, or DCFIs. Of course, for banking system, this is a novella, a kind of novella, and a hard burden. But for our new super mega regulator, central bank newly redesigned, this is very a kind of achievement. And just a few words in concern with our interest in IMF quota reform, and we are today the donors. Among our BRIC countries, they are the only who have the decrease of quota. And here you can see the evolution of this decrease from 2008, when the first summit of G20 was organized, and the evolution from 10% of decrease to about 2% of decrease. And it is bothly announced and recognized that it is G20, it is due to G20. We have to, have managed to narrow this spread before our previous quarter and newly designed quarter. And besides this, of course, we take into consideration all our achievements in the sphere of economic development, and of course this kind of financial support as we signed this new borrowing agreement with International Monetary Fund. Besides other BRICS countries, this is a kind of attempt to make negotiations easy and to somehow balance our presence as being the members of International Monetary Fund. So just lots of findings and lots of information. Of course, I have little time to express all my findings, but still I have to summarize something just from the second part, saying that we have it's my own opinion. Of course, it's a kind of ground for discussion that G20 for Russia and this formula, Russia G20 partnership, as a kind of binominal structure, because it is simultaneously an attempt from the Russian side to articulate the political interest and political will on a global level, and on the other side, G20 inspires us for some internal development in sphere of monetary, social and labor policy this year. Because, for instance, one example, before G20, we adopted some international conventions, and after G20, this process became more rapid and implications of political will. So thank you very much for your attention and all this patience. Thank you.
Okay, many thanks, Natalia. Thank you to interrupt you. So now we have Shiv Vishwanathan. Okay, so from India.
I have to confess, I'm not an advocate of the nation state. I think it's a genocidal entity. And I want to also emphasize that a peaceful nation like India has 1 million troops outside the army for internal order and control. So if you think I'm going to advocate the greatness of India, let me stop. I think there's a different kind of greatness I want to talk about. The greatness of the Indian democratic imagination. And I want to emphasize this because I just heard Robert Farrell talk about the BRICS versus the West. I think that's a very parochial view of the Indian imagination. Because India virtually internalized the West, created a whole series of alternative Wests. And in fact, it had the confidence to look at the West in a different way. I remember Gandhi being once asked by an American journalist, what do you think of Western civilization? He said, it would be a good idea. Sometimes I think BRICS is in a similar state. What would make BRICS a good idea? And I'm going to try a very simple thought experiment. I can't match the Borisov-like speed of that presentation. Being a lazy Indian and a